Welcome to the Speedy Freak channel. This is my second Ark Survival of the Fittest video. This time we're going to be covering 25 tips to put you top of the leaderboard. Let's get started. Tip 1 is to always create a small character with a small head. There's a lot less chance of you being hit, and there's less chance of you losing your face. Tip number 2 is always plan your engrams. When you are playing free-for-all, it will allow you to see all of your engrams that you can put onto your hotbar. I recommend the pick, hatchet, spears, bow, and arrows. That's personally what I like to put in there. When you're playing with a friend, you won't be able to see all the engrams, only the pick. Tip number 3 is always have a map open of the metal locations. Now, personally, I find it difficult to learn them all off by heart, so I use this map right here. I'll leave a link in the description for you. Heavily recommend it, especially if you're just starting out. Tip 4 is to plan your base location before you land. So, as you can see here, I'm falling down. I'm already pointing in the direction which I'm going to go. I know straight away once I land where I'm going to head off and where I'm going to build my base. Tip 5 is expanding on my previous tip. When you land, don't go for the middle. It's pointless. The things that you can get in the middle are usually just spears, maybe some hide armor. Not really worth it when instead you could be running in the opposite direction, already getting your tools and building your base. Tip 6 is to create some cloth armor. The cloth armor is easy to either ignore or to forget about because many people think that it practically offers you no protection at all. Cloth armor can be the difference between getting killed by 1 headshot or getting killed by 2 headshots. So for the sake of it, it really is worth doing until you get some hide or some chitin armor. Tip 7 is to gather the resources for your base and build the base as soon as humanly possible. I recommend doing this soon after you've got all of your weapons and all of your armor. If there are players around or if there are some big carnivores around, because carnivore drops do happen, then you'll be safe and sound while they're all getting eaten alive. Tip 8 is an expansion on Tip 7. Try to build your base somewhere that's nice, safe and secure, and somewhere that's hard to see. In this case, I built a base where there's loads of rocks around and loads of trees, so the base is hard for other people to find. Tip 9 is if you see a parasaur or some other cowardly bitch-ass herbivore running away, there's probably going to be a player or carnivore chasing them. Tip 10 is don't jump in a fight. Now, it's really easy to jump in a fight. I still do it sometimes by habit. But when you jump, you have no more control over your movement, and it's really easy to get killed. Tip 11 is to keep moving. The moment you stand still is the moment you are dead. If you need to access your inventory, do it when you're hidden behind rocks and trees, you're prone down, or you're plummeting to your death. If you stand still in your inventory for too long, someone can easily just come along and kill you with a clean headshot. Tip 12, you can hold down the hotbar key to eat loads of berries at once. I don't know if you can do this with cooked meat or not, but I don't think there'll ever be a time where you'll need to eat loads of cooked meat at once. I sometimes need to eat loads of berries at once in order to get my thirst back up when there's no water nearby. Tip 13, always aim for the head, especially if you get the jump on the enemy. If you see them first, whether they're long range or short range, you've got an opportunity to kill them in one shot. Like this. Tip 14, focus most of your tame stats on health. This is most important when you first tame the animal, but most of it on health. You don't want to risk accidentally losing the tame, to it being shot. And this tame is going to be the distraction. That's going to be the thing taking all of the bullets to stop you from getting killed. Later on, by all means, focus more points on damage, but mainly at the start, you're going to be wanting to put that into health. Tip 15 is to always carry a shotgun. To me personally, I think the shotgun is the most important gun there is. Mainly that's because players do get close quite a lot. It doesn't matter what weapon they have, a lot of the time they're going to be relatively close. And if they send a Spino at you or a T-Rex, anything like that, the shotgun's going to take it down the fastest. There's been loads of times where someone sent their big tame after me, or loads of tames after me, and I've just shot several times with a shotgun, then they're all dead. Best weapon there is. Tip 16 is to put your first levels into weight. I always like to put 5 levels into weight to bring that to 300, and everything else I like to put into health. You may want to give yourself some stamina. I don't personally, but I find that I do run out of stamina quite a lot. Tip 17 is when you see 2 other players fighting, don't be afraid to interrupt. A lot of people, when they see this sort of thing, they either run away or try to hide. In truth, you should be able to run in and catch them both off guard, maybe even get a kill or 2. Unfortunately, at this time, I ended up getting chased by a T-Rex, so that wasn't possible. But if there were tames involved, if either of those players had tames, you ran in, killed one of them with a shotgun, then you would get their tames. Tip 18, harvest chitin. So chitin armor is going to be the best armor that you can get, and it's usually quite easy to find. You will have swarm events that sometimes happen, therefore there'll be loads of these flies all over. Just kill the flies, harvest the chitin, and that's your full set, and from that you may even be able to make a second or third set as well, spare, just in case you ever need it. Tip 19 is always carry spears or a pike. There are going to be times, even if you've got the best weapons, that you're going to need a spear or a pike. In this case, I got attacked by loads and loads of flies. Using all of my other guns would have been pointless. At least I had a spear, killed them all, and then I was able to move on. Tip 20 is to increase your field of view. This is the first time I've ever increased my field of view. I've never even looked at it or noticed it before. I only found this out because someone called Dingus CSGO replied to my previous video and recommended it, as well as a few other tips if you want to check that out. Thank you for that, Dingus. Tip 20, increase field of view. Tip 21, kill the players but not their tames if you can help it. If you manage to kill the players, then all of their tames become unclaimed, and then you can just press A on them and they become yours. Tip 22 is to always carry at least 2 bows. That second bow is going to come in handy just in case the first bow breaks in the middle of a fight, or maybe you want to put your trank arrows on one of the bows and your stone arrows on the other bow, just to make taming that a little bit easier. Tip 23, when the acid rain event starts and there are no other players nearby, just go ahead and take your armor off. You may take a bit more damage, but at least your armor's in your inventory where it's not going to get damaged. If you're in the middle of a fight or you know there are some players nearby, I'd say the best thing to do is actually keep your armor on. It may slowly degrade, but at least it'll save you from an arrow or a bullet. Tip 24. When the acid rain event is still active, you can apparently fill your water skins up with the acid rain. This is not something I've ever tried before, so I can't say whether it definitely does work or not. This is another tip given to us by Dingus CSGO when he commented on my video. To use a water skin, put it on your hotbar, press the appropriate number, that'll fill it up when it's raining, and as far as I'm aware, it'll just fill it up with your typical water. Tip 25. I don't have any footage of this one, I'm afraid, which is why I've left it till last, so apologies about that. Tip 25 is to tame a dilo. Now, dilos are quite common, you find them everywhere, but they come in really, really handy. If you're fighting a player, they can spit on the player, slows the player right down, they can't really see very much. I've had other players attack me quite a few times and it would be an easy fight for me, but if they bring a dilo and the dilo spits on me, there's been times where it's got me killed. This here is a bonus tip, not just for the new guys, but everybody. So this tip is being made because I was pretty silly. In my last video, when the area was closing in, I ran into the building, started crafting everything, all my bullets, everything I needed, just to get it all done last minute. But because of me being in a rush, I ended up leaving the door open and I took an arrow to the face. So yes, always close the door when you leave the house or come into it. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has helped you out. This is only my second Ark Survival of the Fittest video, so if you have any comments or criticism about the video, please leave a comment below. That'll help me out a ton. If you've enjoyed the video and it's helped you, please like the video and subscribe to get more guides and tips for your favourite games. Thank you very much. This recording here that you can see is the ending of all of the footage that I've put together. This one particular match, this is where most of the footage came from. Snapped small bits from my previous video as well, so feel free to see how the end of this goes.